Right, so let's use this scroll view. Of course, we need to import it, and I'm inside the input.js. So it's going to be scroll, just like this, scroll view. So again, if we need to make items scroll to this, we need to wrap the whole component inside scroll view. So a scroll view is again a new component, and we need to add some stylings. If not, we are not going to get anything. So I'm going to wrap everything in scroll view. I'm going to reload the application, and it looks a little bit weird. So I'm going to go right here at the top and say style equal to 100%. We're going to make it 100% of width because this looks really weird. And as you can see, we can still scroll it. So I'm going to say style and then width and then 100%. Very good. So okay, I'm getting an error message right here, scroll view style. Oh, it's because I'm adding, sorry for that. I'm not adding a reference to an object. I'm adding these styles in line. So we need two keys right here. So I'm gonna open, and if I scroll, everything works. So very good. So as you can see, it's letting me scroll just the component I am using right here. I'm wrapping just the input. If I scroll, nothing happens with the add number and the nav. So this is how scroll view works. But maybe I don't want to do this. I want to scroll everything and just leave the nav on top. Just leave the nav like the position fix we would use in web. So I'm gonna get rid of this scroll view, and I'm gonna use it, but from within app. So I'm gonna delete it right here so I can skip that message. I'm gonna go to app and import scroll view. Just like this, scroll view. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go right here at the bottom, and I'm gonna wrap everything but the nav component, right? So that's what we want to do. So I'm gonna go right here, and I want to do scroll view, open and close. I'm gonna grab everything and put it inside of the scroll view. Very cool. So again, I'm gonna be adding a style of 100% so we can see it. Style, open and close, and then open and close, the curly braces. And then width, and then 100%. It still is gonna, look a little bit weird. So I'm gonna reload the application, and now if I scroll, everything works. Right, so everything is good, This is the way it works. Now what I want to do, I want to add some padding to the borders, to the margins. I want to do that. So I'm gonna go right here and wrap everything inside of the view. And in real life, this is how you're gonna do things. Everything is inside of a component, of a component, of a component. Same thing right here. And most of the times, you can get a lot of views inside of a view. So I'm gonna be adding styles, and I'm gonna say styles and then wrapper, something like that. I'm gonna grab the wrapper, go right here at the bottom and say, wrapper. Makes sense. So inside wrapper, I'm just gonna add flex of 1. I'm gonna do comma. I'm gonna be adding a width of 100%, just to make it a little bit nicer. Padding 20 pixels from the side, or 20 units. Then align items, everything is gonna be at the center. And what else? Justify content, and we're gonna put everything on top. So it's justify, let me just copy from here, justify content. It's gonna be equal to, and I'm gonna use flex start. We're gonna put everything at the start. So okay, I'm gonna reload the application. It's a little bit better, much nicer. If I scroll, this is still letting me scroll. So just like everything, any component inside React Native, you have access to some props right here. Right now we are just using the style of a scroll view. That's the only thing we are using. But for example, we have one that is going to be called on, and then content size change. This one is going to be a function, and by default, just like whenever we use an event, we receive the event, and in this case, we're going to get back the width and the height. You can put width or you can put height, doesn't matter. But first is the width and then the height. So I'm going to say alert, and I'm going to alert the height of the component. So now I'm going to reload the application, and it's doing the alert several times. And this is because we have several components doing several things right here. So the component re-renders, and every time that re-renders, the size of the scroll view is going to change because we are adding things. So we get an alert every time the scroll view and the size changes. So we get the new height, the height, and everything else. If I type, for example, Francis again, and I add a user, it's going to be adding the user, and it's going to frozen right now. There we go. We get the alert, and right here we get the Francis. So every time the scroll view changes, we get an alert. And the same thing for the width, but right now we are just modifying the height. Okay. So we're gonna comment this out just to prevent from giving us an alert. And we have other, for examples, on momentum scroll beginning or begin. So this one again is going to be just a function, and I'm going to reload I'm going to just say alert, just like before. I'm going to say begin. So I'm going to reload the application, and nothing is going to happen. So if I scroll, nothing happens. So if I go right here at the top, and you can see whenever this happens, this is scroll momentum, this is called momentum, we get the alert. So whenever this happens, we trigger a function. And of course, we have the same thing, but backwards on momentum, and then scroll end. And again, we're gonna alert and then end, something like that. Oops, end. Okay, so I'm gonna reload the application. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go back to the top, and the momentum is gonna go back and then end. You can see the end. Let me comment the beginning. So I'm gonna reload the application. I'm gonna go to the tab. It's gonna go back, and when it ends, that scroll momentum is gonna give us the alert. And the same thing with the other one. As soon as it starts doing this, this movement, it's gonna begin, and then when it ends, it stops. And the same thing is at the bottom. If I go to the bottom, when the momentum starts, we get the begin and then the end. So this is useful sometimes. But we have one more, for example. We have a lot, but I'm just showing you the most used ones. So we have one that is going to be on scroll, not on size change. Sometimes the autocomplete on, it really sucks. On scroll, there we go. And again, on this one, we get an alert of scrolling, something that makes sense. Scrolling, there we go. It's going to reload the application, and if I scroll, we get the alert. Of course, for every time you scroll, you're going to get an alert, so it's a little bit annoying. It's not going to let me, scroll a lot. So, this is really useful. Maybe you want to know when the user is doing a scroll, or maybe when it reaches the end, all right, the end, and you have that momentum, and as soon as it stops, you want to trigger a function or maybe load something else from the state. That depends on the application you are building. So again, if you go to the documentation, you have more prompts you can use. These ones are the most useful ones. All right, so that's good. Let's go to the next section.